Hey everybody, so today I have a what's for dinner for you guys. So I actually filmed an entirely different intro to this back last week when I was gonna share it with you guys, but honestly the first week of this, because there is gonna be 2 weeks included, the first week was absolutely chaotic. Our meal plan went out the window very shortly, and it just felt less inspirational as to like what you guys can make for dinner and more as a testament that we are a regular family eating fast convenient food because plans just don't always happen the way that you hope that they do. So I still wanted to give you guys something, so that's the reason why there was only one video last week. I wanted to just roll these 2 weeks together, and that way I could give you, I don't know, more ideas, more inspiration, more of a look at how our weeks actually go. We're in the middle of a big family change. Our schedule is all mixed up because my husband has a completely new work schedule. So you guys are seeing me just doing my best. So that's what this video is. I'm sure it's not going to be revolutionary. You're not going to get a ton of ideas behind this, but hopefully you see that I'm just a regular mom like a lot of you guys, and I'm making the best decisions I can in the moment with the information that I have. So yeah, we're all adapting. I just wanted to give a little intro because I don't think this is going to be my typical what's for dinner video where it's a little put together. Just keep your expectations low, I guess is what I'm saying. But let's go ahead and get started into the video. So the first night was actually chicken Caesar salads. This is something that we do all the time when things are kind of busy and chaotic and we just need fast and great dinners. Salads are our go-to. We do taco, steak, just plain chicken, but the Caesars are our favorite with some romaine lettuce, Parmesan cheese, Caesar dressing, croutons, and my husband makes the best chicken in the air fryer. It's so good. It just 10 out of 10 dinner for us. We enjoy these so much. So the next night was Valentine's Day night. I made the girls this heart-shaped pizza that I got from Aldi, and I put some Walmart pizza sauce with it because it doesn't actually have red sauce, but they loved it. They thought it was delicious. And then these are the cookies that we made together earlier that day. We thought we were going to do something for ourselves for dinner that was completely different, but that restaurant ended up being closed. So as you can see, we ended up getting pizza ourselves from a local place, but we took advantage of that. We ordered some boneless wings, some chicken wings, and we were able to finally play the Hot Ones Truth or Dab game that I had gotten Mark a while back. And it was a lot of fun. If you have a crowd, I highly recommend this. I'll link it down below, but it was fun. The next night, Mark offered to bring dinner home, and I'm not about to slap a gift horse in the mouth. So I said, of course, and he brought home Burger King. So there you go. Next night is a favorite in our house. It goes over with literally every single one of my children, and my husband loves it. So it's just broccoli, rigatoni, and some ciabatta rolls. Now, this goes downhill quickly because, man, oh man, did I forget several ingredients for this dinner. So I start with the broccoli. I just get it all prepped up, and then I put some oil on it. I use grapeseed, but you can use whatever you prefer, and some garlic powder and some salt. If you want to, split the difference and use garlic salt, that'll be fine too, but I just like to control the amount of salt that's going in there. So I just drizzle some oil on top of this big bowl of broccoli, and then I give it a sprinkle with the salt and the garlic powder, and then I just toss it all around. That way everything's getting coated with the oil and the seasonings. And I try to do it one-handed here and show you guys me mixing it up, but obviously it does not go super well, so I eventually end up just giving up and doing it off camera. But nonetheless, it comes out all seasoned. You obviously can't see too much, but this is so delicious. And then we just put it in the air fryer at 350 for like 5-6 minutes, and it is so, so good. My kids love it. We love it. It's delicious and super easy. Then I go over to the ciabatta rolls, and these are a lot cheaper than the frozen kind that I've showed you guys before, and you get a lot more. So I just take some butter, and I'm not trying to get into every nook and cranny of the ciabatta rolls. Obviously, they have a ton of holes. I just go over generally one piece with some butter because it's all going to melt and get into crevices and stuff like that anyways. I typically use minced garlic, like the refrigerated kind, but I didn't order any for our grocery order, so I had to use garlic powder, and that's what I was showing you. So here's a look at what the bread looks like after I butter it. Obviously, you know, there's plenty of gaps here. But once it gets all melted, it'll go all the places that you want it to. So it's going to be just fine. If anything, this is a little heavy-handed. And then here I am sprinkling the garlic powder. If you are going to use garlic powder, I would be super heavy-handed with it. You can see me being pretty generous here. I'm going over it twice, and this is pretty good. Although if you can use the minced garlic, definitely do. Put a stripe of it on each piece and then just rub it around the best you can. I promise it's so worth it. It's delicious. Although if you only have garlic powder, it'll work perfectly fine and be just as good. I will say that I typically start the broccoli in the air fryer and the ciabatta in my oven around the time that the pasta is going into, like, once I get that boil going in the water. So that's when I start everything, so it's done around the same time if you want to try this yourself. But I mean, there's a reason why everybody eats it. It's because it's fast, cheap, filling, and so many other things. But there's a look at our take on it. And the next night is something, again, I wanted to share with you guys, but I did not get all of what I needed to grocery wise. So we got some pizza rolls and some little smokies and crescent rolls because I'm going to make mini corn dogs and also show you how I step the pizza rolls up a notch. My husband loves this and so do my kids. So now I can probably never make regular ones again. But I just take a couple tablespoons of butter. I put minced garlic on top, and that way as it's melting the butter in my air fryer, it's going to roast the garlic along with it, just a little bit, you know, nothing crazy here, but enough. So you're going to see it right now. It's out of there. It's roasted the garlic. The butter is melted. I'm adding Italian seasoning to this as much as you prefer. You can use other spices if you want, but I knew my kids would primarily be eating this along with my husband and I. So I try not to make anything too spicy for them because we're still building up a tolerance with them. But yeah, you can put whatever seasonings you want in this butter. Give it a good stir, although, you know, it's butter, so a lot of it's going to sink. So if you are not in a super hurry like I was this night and scrambling to get dinner done, you can put all of your pizza rolls in a bowl, dump the butter on top, toss them gently, throw some Parmesan cheese on it. But when I tell you that dinner came all of a sudden, and I was trying to get this done as fast as possible, I'm not exaggerating whatsoever. So after you mix it up, it's starting to look like this, and this is when I add a little bit more Italian seasoning. This is also when I would use some Parmesan cheese, but that was one of the things that I forgot. And definitely don't skip the Parmesan cheese if you have it, although my kids and my husband even liked it just like this. So yes, it is delicious. It's just stepping it up another notch, but I feel like it just kind of elevates the plain old pizza rolls, you know. Make it even more American by throwing butter on it. And this was actually the night that my kids were going to spend the night at grandma's house. So I just packed this all up and I had them take it to grandma's so that they could eat over there. And, you know, the little smokies, you just wrap them up in halves of the crescent rolls, bake them according, and it's a super easy meal and the kids love it because they feel like they're just snacking on stuff. And then this next night, I actually forgot to film a clip of it. So this is actually after it's already cooled off. I've shared this recipe before. These are my Swedish meatballs, or my intimidation of that kind of recipe. I'll link that video down below where you can get all the details, but this is what I packed for my husband's lunch. You can see I put other stuff in there. I have even more of the gravy. So we had this for dinner. I totally forgot to film a part of it, and I remembered at like 12 o'clock at night and I was like, oh, he has some left in his lunchbox. So I hurried out there and I got a clip for you guys. But yeah, you've seen it before. They're delicious. It's one of our favorite meals, super filling, tons of leftovers. Can't go wrong with it. And then the next night is something else that I've also shared with you guys before. It's the Stromboli. Again, crowd pleaser in this house. My kids absolutely love this. They get excited every time. So the one I'm showing you has pepperoni and salami and some mozzarella cheese in it. With my kids, I only put salami in there because they think the pepperoni is too spicy. We love this great value Walmart pizza sauce brand. It has no added sugar, which I have nothing against, but still, it's kind of nice. And it's delicious. It's also super cheap. Like that big jar is, I think, between $1 to $2. Just like with the Swedish meatballs, I will link the video of the full recipe so you can see how I make this here. I will say I fold it different every time. It really just depends on what it's looking like, what the dough is working like and stuff like that. But I just wanted you guys to see that the meals that I come on here and I share, they are repeats in my house too. I don't have the energy to come up with something brand new every single week. So a lot of the things that I'm sharing with you guys in these kind of videos are things that we're actually eating in our home. Same goes with the hot dogs and macaroni and cheese. This is not new to anybody who lives in America. Here's a look at my husband's hot dogs. I have the plate that has no buns because I don't like buns, but again, it's about convenience. It's about it being quick, and it's about my kids not complaining, and they loved this dinner. So this is the first night that I can share an original recipe with you guys that you haven't seen before. So this is my homemade hamburger helper that I make in the Instant Pot. You're gonna need 1 carton, around 32 ounces of beef broth, and then you are going to need elbow macaroni, 16 ounces, a pound of whatever brand that you like. You're also going to need about 8 ounces of heavy whipping cream, give or take, no exact measurements here. And then around 8 ounces of shredded cheddar cheese. You can shred your own, or you can get the already shredded kind, whatever floats your boat. And then the seasonings that I'm going to be using are the Tony's More Spice. I also have some Italian seasoning that I don't use a ton of, but I do put some in there. And then also some onion powder because I did not feel like cutting up my own onion, but if you can do that, it's even better. And then some steak seasoning. So with this recipe, I mostly season my meat, which is something that I don't show, but you do need a pound of some kind of meat. Could be vegetarian mince or whatever you prefer. But once you've sauteed it in the bottom of your Instant Pot, go ahead and pour the uncooked macaroni on top of the meat. So this is really important. You do not want to stir it. I'm just making sure that the macaroni is evenly placed over top of the meat. My saute feature is turned off, so I'm just adding in. And then with the beef broth, you want to add this until the macaroni is mostly covered. It doesn't have to be on top of it. You'll see here as I'm adding it in, I'm just making sure that it's evenly distributed. And once I get about there, that's enough beef broth. So it's not swimming in it or anything, but it definitely has enough to where it's enough liquid to actually cook the macaroni. And again, not stirring, just making sure that it's all as evenly coated as it can be. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to put it on, you're going to cook it for half the cooking time stated on the box. So the box said 4 minutes for this macaroni. I'm just going to put it on for 2, and then also turn off the keep warm feature, which I almost forgot about. And you're going to do a quick release, which means as soon as the timer goes off, you release the pressure from the Instant Pot, and you can see me stirring it around here. The oil and the fat from the meat makes it so your macaroni is not clumpy. It does not stick together. There's also some oil in that beef broth, and just give it a good stir. And then I go in with the heavy whipping cream first. So I know this carton says like 16 ounces, but I had half of it left. So it was around 8 ounces that I used in this recipe. So as soon as I get finished dumping all of that in, I go right on top with the shredded cheddar cheese. Again, shred your own or buy already shredded. It doesn't really matter because the pasta is so hot from the pressure cooking. It only takes a few minutes for this to come together, but you do want to just keep stirring it to evenly distribute everything you just poured in. So I didn't add any extra seasonings to this right now because I was giving this to the kids. However, I do add extra seasoning when it comes time for me and Mark to eat in our own bowls. I put a little bit more of that Tony's in, but really I just make sure that I season the meat really, really well. This is a super cheap and easy meal, and it has a lot of flavor as long as you're seasoning your meat. It's going to be pretty plain if you don't, but I go pretty heavy-handed with the steak seasoning. I also throw a bit of Italian seasoning in there as well. And then finally, I do put in some Tony's. I don't put a ton because I have the spicy version of Tony's, and my kids aren't a huge fan of it, but I do feel like it adds a little bit of something, even if you put just a little bit, because it is pretty mild if you don't use too much. But then whenever it comes time to make a bowl for Mark and I, we put a little bit more Tony's and maybe some pepper on there for ourselves. But this is such a quick and easy meal. It's also really delicious. It's 10 times better than Hamburger Helper. When I was in cosmetology school and working 2 jobs, and Mark was working second shift, which meant he worked all day long, we only ever ate out of boxed meals when it was just us two. So we had Hamburger Helper, I can't tell you how many times, and I far prefer this stuff over the box version, and I feel like it's just as easy if you've got an Instant Pot. So I wanted to share this with you guys. It's one of those meals that I never really think of, and I don't hugely look forward to, but the kids love it. I love it. It makes a ton for leftovers if you are needing some lunch the next day or something like that. But I wanted to come on here and share it with you guys because it's been a recipe of mine that I've had for a while, and lately I've been using it quite a lot in this transition. But yeah, that's everything I've got for you guys. And that's all the meals that we had for the past couple of weeks. Like I said, the first week a complete mess, just doing what we can when we can. But the second week, I don't know. I'm filming this at the beginning of the second week, so hopefully it went better. I don't know. It's anyone's guess. I guess you guys just saw. But yeah, hope that was like a little refreshing for you guys, that no matter what videos I put out as far as like what's for dinner or a meal plan or stuff like that, you see that we have weeks that just absolutely go sideways as well. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and as always, thanks for watching.